What's going on, motivators? We got another video. We got to talk about Katie Wilson, failed socialist Democrat of Seattle, failed policy, and now asking the rich to leave her state. Let's get into this.
We begin tonight with gunfire in Seattle at the same location where Mayor Katie Wilson was holding an event. Take a look. Our photographer found bullet holes in a door of the Yesler Community Center. Mayor Wilson had just held an event in a different area of the same property and was still at the community center when the shooting happened. Our photographer heard the gunshots and estimates the mayor was about 50 yards from where the bullet struck. But the two areas are separated by a hill and the building. Seattle police say they received a report of multiple people shooting near the community center and no injuries were reported. Witnesses told police the suspects left the area in an unidentified vehicle. Mayor Wilson released a statement that reads in part, quote, "Shortly following my announcement of new investments in Seattle's children and families today, we heard gunfire. No one was injured, but it was a stark reminder of a reality too many people in this city live with every day. We cannot let this become normal. We must invest in opportunity and we must continue working to keep people safe." The shots were fired shortly after the mayor delivered remarks on a voter-approved levy that she's putting into action.
So,
the shots were.
I mean, just think about it. This mayor sucked from the time she started as this whole policy is because she's touting the same thing Mondani is, right? Seattle about to become worse than New York. There'll be no difference. Seattle is bad. We know we had the summer of love and all that crap going on over there. Now she's elected. It's going to be worse. These people cannot have a functionable government. We all know this. Why we keep electing those people, I don't know, for free stuff. It's always for free stuff. But yet the violence is still there and it's going to continue to be there until policies change.
Launched under the Harrell administration last spring as part of the Real-Time Crime Center. While existing cameras will remain active, at least one near reproductive and gender-affirming care clinic is being powered down immediately. She's also halting the use of automatic license plate readers. Fox 13's Alejandro Guzman has more on what this all means.
The Stadium District is one of the only places that's getting 24 new surveillance cameras that are going to be installed this spring, but they're not going to be turned on unless there's a real threat. The decision comes from Mayor Katie Wilson, who is now hitting pause on expanding surveillance cameras across the rest of the city.
I am pausing expansion.
I mean, what's the point? You have them, but you're not going to turn on until there's a threat. Like, by then, the culprit is gone already. What is... This enactment of policies makes zero sense. Who are those people who put in charge? I'm telling you, Seattle is done already, but it's going to get even worse. This woman has to go. She just got elected, but she has to go.
Of this pilot until we have completed a privacy and data governance audit and taken significant steps to strengthen our policies.
Right now, 62 police CCTV cameras are installed along Aurora Avenue, downtown, and the Chinatown International District. But expanding the cameras to new neighborhoods is now on hold, as Mayor Katie Wilson acknowledged this is a deeply divided issue.
It's important to base a decision on more than feelings. It's important to ground our actions in a thorough understanding of how the cameras are being used, of the public benefits they are providing, and of any harm they are causing or could cause.
The one exception, the Stadium District, ahead of the World Cup.
However, they will not be turned on and will not be connected to the RTCC unless we are aware of a credible threat that warrants such action. And they will be turned off once that threat subsides.
Even, as she says, cameras...
Make that make sense. Anybody listen to this? Does that make any sense to you? What is wrong? Either have it or don't have it. What is wrong with those people? And she's touting the cameras. We don't know what it's going to be used for. It's going to be used for safety. Enough of the feeling stuff. People may feel like they're being violated somewhat. To me, make it safe because there are some bad people. Now, if we didn't let thousands and millions of people into the country, I probably would go with the stance of turn it off. But there are bad people in the world today. How are you going to protect the neighborhood, the citizens, if you cannot account for many CCTVs out there? How are you going to catch those perpetrators when they come through? Impossible. This whole thing about turning it on and off, if there's a credible threat, what are we talking about? The person left already. Now, this is just inviting crime because they know they won't get caught on television. They could evade very easily. These people have the worst policies.
Can help.
I haven't seen any evidence that they deter or prevent crime, right? They're helpful in solving it.
The mayor is also halting the use of automatic license plate readers, or ALPRs, while the city reviews the soon-to-be signed Senate Bill 6002 that passed last week. It outlines the rules for these systems and how long video can be stored. During the press conference, it was said Wilson has Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes' support.
Do you want to live in a society where there's like cameras on every corner, right? I think that's a very legitimate question.
The audit is expected to take a few months, so until then, the expansion of surveillance cameras citywide will be on hold. In Seattle,
my thing is, I'm with the readers of the license plate, depending on how it's being used. If it's just to give ticket, I think that's an issue. But if it's finding out people have suspended stuff, illegal plates, there's a lot of good that could come with it. I think the best thing is to set priorities over ways that it could be abused and try to red tape those. But I think there's a lot of good with it and have it for the public at the end of the day.
After what happened, what transpired?
I'm doing great. Got a great team supporting me, and I'll just say, we don't have any indication that that shooting was targeted or anything like that. So I think it's a reminder of how much work we have to do as a city on gun violence, but I'm doing fine.
How about your crazy policies still suck? How about you create policies that's going to help the people and enact those CCTVs so that we could see what's going on? Perpetrators cannot get away.
And the last question would be related to that, I talked to people in that neighborhood who said that, hold on, it's just one last question. People in that community who are concerned that.
Wow, look at it trying to pull a Kamala on her, like pull her out quick. What's up with Democrats? Never want people to answer questions. They always pull their main people, Sarah gets away quick when they're going to answer questions. Like, please don't say the wrong thing. They're there for us, the people. It doesn't make sense how they could never answer questions. Please pull her out before she says something wrong. If you're not capable of answering questions, you shouldn't run for the job to begin with.
There's been rising gun violence and that there should be more surveillance cameras and that kind of thing. That's obviously been an issue that you weighed in on. Does that change it? Does that change your perspective at all?
Let's keep it on. Yeah, let's keep it on the topic. Thanks.
But does that change your perspective at all on the issue of surveillance cameras based on what you went through on Tuesday?
Appreciate it, but let's keep it on topic, okay?
Same thing they did to Kamala during the 24 election. Pulled her off because they think she might say something stupid. These people, I don't get it.
She's about to answer the question, though. I mean, it looks worse when you jump in like that.
I'm sorry, I specifically said to keep it on topic tonight, okay?
Yeah.
Keep it on topic. She's answering the question. It is for him to ask questions. He's supposed to ask questions for us, the constituents. What is up with this guy, too? This makes zero sense.
But I also have to ask the questions that people want to have answered.
Maybe we can set up a different time for that.
But the mayor's a busy person.
I understand. Maybe we can set up with Sage sometime.
We'll talk to Sage.
Well, Sage hasn't returned phone calls all week, so.
It's been a busy week, but I will definitely get with Sage. Yeah.
We're just trying to keep it in the scope and respect the event itself. If that makes sense.
Well, you can respect what I'm doing.
His job is for the people. He should be asking the question like a true reporter does. That's why the local reporters are so much better than the mainstream reporters. They ask those tough questions. And now she's running away. If it was a mainstream reporter, they would have never asked those questions, so she'll feel all comfy. It is for us, the constituents, to know what she's thinking and what kind of plan that she has to enact for the city.
Your job is to ask questions. It's our job to ask questions.
We just need to keep it within the constraints of the event itself. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to Sage. We'll get it figured out. Thanks, Chris. Okay. Were you going to talk to Andrew?
I already did.
We got 4 minutes, so
We'll get started. Okay.
So
This is amazing. This is amazing. This makes zero sense to me. Zero sense. People should be embarrassed of themselves. 100% embarrassed.
you obviously went through a traumatic event on Tuesday night. I talked to a lot of people in that neighborhood who suggest that, hey, that's the reason why we need more surveillance cameras in the city of Seattle. This is an issue that you've weighed in on before. Does your perspective change at all based on what you went through Tuesday night?
Not really. I mean, I believe that CCTV cameras have an important role to play in our public safety system, and we also have to be very careful to make sure that our data storage, security, sharing practices don't make that system vulnerable to misuse and abuse, whether that's by federal immigration enforcement or by other.
That is dumb. That is dumb. They have to bring a whole bunch of stuff into it. Like, yes, how about you protect your constituent instead of worrying about federal? And probably enact rules to create safeguards against how the technology is being used. I think that's the best way of doing it, because criminals don't care about how people are using technology. They're going to rob the citizens and put them in harms and in danger. This is stupid.
She almost just straight out laughed at the people leaving her area. Here she is.
I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown, and if the ones that leave, like, bye. So,
I mean, this is deja vu all over again. This is deja vu. What's her name said the exact same thing? Kathy Holcomb.
And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town. Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers. And we're here to...
Same thing now. We don't need you. You're not New Yorkers. All the rich, you could leave, right? Leave. We don't need you.
So, Governor, it's something interesting that is really happening with these politicians. It's like, they're not changing their policy, and now they're making fun of their tax base leaving their area.
Well, I always tell people, because I'll be like, oh man, you Florida, you guys, you did this, you did that, man, how we want other states to be like you. How'd you do it? And look, we've done a lot. We've led on a lot, and I'm proud of that. But, I also have a cheat code here. All I got to do is look to New York, Illinois, California, Washington State, and then just do the opposite of what they're doing. And that works out very, very well. And so, yes, they've repelled a lot of people from their states. Florida has been one of the places, of course, for refuge. And I think we've had more adjusted gross income move into the state of Florida since I've been governor that has ever moved into any state in America in the history of the country.
I'm telling you, these people have learned nothing. Even Kathy Holcomb realized that she made an error, and you think she would be like, oh yes, I have learned from New York. I won't say those things as far as pushing the rich away. I am dumbfounded. These people, it's like, we know socialists don't work, but they're like, we're going to make it work. Kathy Holcomb realized that she was wrong. She's calling back for people to come back to New York, but this one says, no, I will make it happen without that. And she's still touting socialist policies.
High net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who've stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay. We saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall Street, businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure.
Wow, that is incredible. She realized that they're going there because they have tax breaks. and it's making life easier for their bottom line. But yet, you have the mayor of Seattle. She is now pushing people, leave, we don't need you. What is wrong with those people? And she is going with the same idea of what Mamdani is doing to make a socialist city. I don't get it. I really don't. Make those things make sense. I mean, it is what it is. Those people keep taking people money. I want to see how Seattle turns out, if it turns out worse than New York. But it seems like she's trying to compete for New York to see who's going to flatline the first. Anyway, let me know what you think inside the comments. All right, motivators, if you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe to A Black Veteran's Perspective. Stay motivated.